The rain battered the diner's window, each drop a hammer against my heart. I sat alone in a booth, clutching a crumpled note, its ink smudged from my trembling fingers. Ryan's words stared back at me. I love you, Evan. I'm telling Mia tonight. My best friend's brother, my secret for months, was about to unravel everything. The diner's hum faded as dread coiled in my chest. Once Mia knew, nothing would be the same. I shoved the note into my pocket, the paper crinkling against my thigh. Chicago's streets glistened outside, reflecting neon signs that blurred in the storm. Ryan and I had been careful, meeting in shadowed alleys or quiet parks, always checking over our shoulders. His charm, his quiet intensity, had pulled me in from the start, but every stolen moment came with a cost. His family was old school, rooted in traditions that left no room for us. Mia, my best friend since college, was my anchor, but even she didn't know the truth. My phone buzzed, snapping me back. A text from Ryan. Meet me at Grant Park. 8 p.m. My pulse spiked. Grant Park was public, exposed. We'd always avoided places where eyes could linger too long. I typed a quick reply. Why there? Too risky. But deleted it. Ryan wasn't reckless, but this note, this plan to tell Mia, felt like a spark in a room full of gasoline. I paid for my untouched coffee and stepped into the rain, the cold biting through my jacket. The walk to Grant Park was short but heavy, each step sinking deeper into uncertainty. What if Mia turned on me? What if Ryan's family shut him out? The thought of losing them both twisted my gut. But Ryan's love, the way his presence steadied me, kept me moving forward. The park was nearly empty, the rain driving most people away. Ryan stood under a dripping tree, his silhouette sharp against the city lights. He turned as I approached, his eyes catching mine with that familiar pull. "Evan," he said, his voice low but urgent. "We can't keep hiding." My throat tightened. "You're telling Mia tonight, without talking to me first?" The words came out sharper than I meant, but the fear was real. Mia was my family, the one who'd been there through every late-night crisis. Losing her would break me. Ryan stepped closer, rain streaking down his face. "I'm tired of lying, Evan. To her, to myself. I love you, and I want her to know." His voice cracked, betraying the weight he carried. I wanted to believe him, to trust that love could outweigh the fallout. But the risk loomed large. "Love doesn't fix everything," I said, my voice barely above the rain. "What happens when she tells your parents? You know how they are." Ryan's mother had once called a distant cousin's coming out a disgrace. I'd seen the fear in Ryan's eyes when he told me that story, the shame he'd carried since. He shook his head, jaw tight. "I don't care anymore. I'm done letting them control me." But his hands trembled, betraying his bravado. A jogger passed by, glancing at us curiously, and I flinched, stepping back. The world was always watching, always judging. "Then what's the plan, Ryan?" I pressed, my voice rising. "We tell Mia, and then what? You think she'll just accept it? That your family won't cut you off?" My chest heaved, the words spilling out like the rain around us. I hated how scared I sounded, but I couldn't stop. Ryan reached for my arm, his touch warm against the cold. "We'll figure it out. Together." His eyes searched mine, pleading for trust, but doubt gnawed at me. Before I could respond, he turned and walked away, disappearing into the rain-soaked park. I stood there, alone, the weight of his words and the note in my pocket pulling me under. Whatever happened next, I knew one thing. The truth was coming, and it would change everything. The rain had stopped, but the air in Grant Park hung heavy, thick with the aftermath of my argument with Ryan. His words echoed in my mind. We can't keep hiding. I stood under the same dripping tree where he'd left me, my shoes sinking into the wet grass. My phone stayed silent. No text. No call. Ryan had walked away, and I wasn't sure if he was heading to Mia's to confess or retreating from the fight we'd just had. Either way, the pit in my stomach grew. I started walking, the city's pulse thrumming around me. Chicago's skyline loomed in the distance, a reminder of how small I felt against the weight of what was coming. Ryan's plan to tell Mia was a bomb waiting to go off. She was my best friend, the one who'd pulled me through late-night study sessions and heartbreak. But she was also Ryan's sister, raised in a family where different was a dirty word. I couldn't shake the image of her face twisting in betrayal when she learned I'd kept this from her. My phone buzzed as I reached the edge of the park. A text from Mia. Need to talk. My place. Now. My heart sank. Ryan must have told her already. The walk to her apartment felt like a march to judgment, each step tightening the knot in my chest. I rehearsed what I'd say. I didn't mean to lie, Mia. It just happened. But the words felt hollow even in my head. When I arrived, Mia was waiting at her door, arms crossed, her eyes sharp with hurt. "You've been lying to me, Evan," she said before I could speak. Her voice was low, controlled, but it cut deeper than any shout. "Ryan told me everything. You and him. How long?" I froze, the truth spilling out clumsily. "A few months. I wanted to tell you, but what?" she snapped, stepping closer. "You thought I wouldn't get it? That I'd judge you?" Her voice broke, and I saw the pain behind her anger. "You're my best friend. I trusted you." "It wasn't about trust," I said, my throat tight. I was scared. Ryan's family, you know how they are. I gestured vaguely, as if that could explain the secrecy, the stolen moments in dark corners, the constant fear of being seen. Mia shook her head, her hands clenched. "You should have told me." Instead, I had to hear it from my mom, who found some note Ryan wrote. "She's furious, Evan. She thinks he's throwing his life away." Her words hit like a punch. Ryan's mother had always been the gatekeeper of their family's values, and her disapproval was a wall we'd never climb. "I didn't mean to hurt you," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "I love him, Mia. I didn't plan this." She looked away, her jaw tight. "Love doesn't make this okay. You both lied to me." She turned, heading back inside, but paused at the door. "I need time, Evan. Don't call me." The door shut, leaving me on the stoop, the silence louder than the city around me. I wandered back to the street, my mind spinning. Mia's words stung, but worse was the thought of Ryan facing his mother's wrath alone. I pulled out my phone to text him, but my fingers hesitated. What could I say? That I was sorry, that I was terrified. A passerby brushed past, muttering something under their breath, and I flinched, feeling exposed. The world seemed to close in, every glance a judgment, every whisper a condemnation. Ryan wanted to live openly, but tonight, all I could feel was the cost. The city's hum felt distant as I stood outside Mia's apartment, her words still burning in my ears. "I need time, Evan. Don't call me." My best friend was gone, maybe for good, and the weight of her anger pressed against my chest. Ryan hadn't texted back since our fight in Grant Park, and the silence was deafening. I needed to find him, to know he was okay. But more than that, I needed to know if we were okay. The truth about us was out, and it was tearing everything apart. I headed toward the community center in Logan Square where Ryan volunteered. It was the one place he'd always said grounded him, a refuge from his family's expectations. The night air was sharp, cutting through my thoughts as I walked. Mia's betrayal stung, but the thought of Ryan facing his mother's judgment alone was worse. I'd seen the way her words could wound him, each one a reminder of the son he was supposed to be. I quickened my pace, the need to see him driving me forward. The community center was a low brick building, its lights spilling onto the sidewalk. Inside, I found Ryan stacking chairs in a meeting room, his movements slow, deliberate. He looked up as I approached, his eyes heavy with something unspoken. "Evan," he said, setting a chair down, "you didn't have to come." "You didn't answer my texts," I said, my voice sharper than I intended. After what happened with Mia, I was worried. The fight with her replayed in my mind. Her hurt, her accusation that I'd lied. I wanted to be angry at Ryan for telling her, for setting this in motion, but standing here, all I felt was fear. Ryan sighed, running a hand through his hair. "My mom found the note before I could talk to Mia. She lost it, Evan. Called me a disappointment. Said I was ruining the family." His voice cracked, and I saw the weight of years of shame crash over him. I thought telling Mia would make things better, but now, I don't know. I stepped closer, my own anger fading. "Mia's done with me," I said, the words bitter. "She thinks we betrayed her, and she's not wrong. We should have told her sooner." The guilt gnawed at me. I'd chosen secrecy to protect myself, but it had cost me the one person who'd always had my back. Ryan shook his head. "This isn't just about Mia. It's about me, too. I've spent my whole life hiding who I am because I was scared of what they'd think. My parents, the church, everyone. I'm tired of it." His voice grew firm, but his hand shook. But now that it's out, I feel lost. I wanted to reach for him, to pull him close, but the space between us felt like a chasm. "I'm scared too," I admitted. "Every time someone looks at us, I feel like they know, like they're judging. I don't know how to be this." The word gay caught in my throat, not because I didn't believe it, but because saying it felt like stepping off a cliff. A woman approached, her badge identifying her as a volunteer. "You guys okay?" she asked, her tone gentle. Ryan nodded, but she lingered, glancing between us. "There's a group here tomorrow night, LGBTQ plus support. You're welcome to join. It helped me when I was figuring things out." She smiled, then walked away, leaving her words hanging in the air. Ryan looked at me, his expression softening. Maybe she's right. Maybe we don't have to do this alone. For the first time that night, I felt a flicker of hope, but it was fragile, overshadowed by the loss of Mia and the looming threat of his family's rejection. "I want to try," I said, my voice steady despite the ache in my chest. "But what if it's not enough?" He stepped closer, his hand brushing mine. "It's a start." The touch was brief, but it grounded me, a reminder of why we were fighting. Still, as we left the center, the weight of what lay ahead pressed down, harder. Mia was gone, Ryan's family was fracturing, and the world outside felt like it was waiting to tear us apart. The community center's meeting room buzzed with quiet energy as Ryan and I slipped into the LGBTQ plus support group the next evening. My stomach churned, the weight of the past few days, Mia's rejection, Ryan's mother's fury, still pressing down. I hadn't slept, haunted by the thought that we'd lost too much already. Ryan sat beside me, his knee brushing mine under the table, a small anchor in the storm. The volunteer from last night, Sarah, welcomed us with a nod, her presence steadying my nerves. The group was small, maybe 10 people, their voices weaving stories of struggle and resilience. A young man shared how his family had shunned him after he came out. A woman spoke of finding freedom in living openly. Each story hit me like a mirror, reflecting my own fears. Ryan listened silently, his hands clasped tightly, as if holding himself together. When it was my turn, I hesitated, my throat tight. "I'm Evan," I started, my voice shaky. "I've been hiding who I am, and now that it's out, I feel like I'm losing everything." Ryan glanced at me, his eyes softening. "I'm Ryan," he said when it was his turn. "My family's falling apart because of me. My mom, she won't even look at me now." His voice cracked, and I wanted to reach for him, but the eyes around us held me back. Sarah leaned forward, her tone gentle. "You're not alone in this. It's hard, but you're here. That's a step." After the meeting, Sarah handed us a flyer for a local PFLAG group, her words lingering. "Give people time. Not everyone comes around, but some do." I tucked the flyer in my pocket, unsure if I believed her. Ryan's mother had called him a disgrace that morning, her voice cold over the phone. He'd played the voicemail for me, each word a blade. She'd cut him off. No calls, no visits. The finality of it shook me, but Ryan's quiet resolve was unshaken. "I'm done pretending," he'd said, and I wanted to match his courage, but fear still clawed at me. We walked through Chicago streets, the city's pulse steady despite the chaos in my head. "What now?" I asked, my voice low. Ryan stopped, turning to face me. "We keep going. Together." His hand grazed mine, a fleeting touch that sent a jolt through me. But the moment was cut short by my phone buzzing. Mia. Her text was brief. "Can we talk?" "Tomorrow, coffee shop on Clark." My heart leapt, then sank. Was she ready to forgive? Or was this another goodbye? The next morning, I sat across from Mia at the coffee shop, the hum of conversation around us doing little to ease the tension. Her eyes were guarded, but softer than before. "I went to a PFLAG meeting," she said, stirring her coffee. "I didn't get it at first, why you didn't tell me, but I'm trying." Her words were cautious. A bridge half built. I swallowed hard, the guilt still raw. "I was scared you'd hate me," I admitted. "You're my family, Mia." She nodded, her gaze dropping. "I don't hate you. I just need to process this. Ryan's my brother and you're my best friend. It's a lot." She paused, then added, "Mom's not coming around, though. She's stubborn." The word hung heavy, a reminder of the wall between Ryan and his family. I left the coffee shop with a flicker of hope for Mia, but Ryan's mother's rejection loomed large. Later, I found him at the community center again, helping with a youth event. He smiled when he saw me, but it didn't reach his eyes. "She sent me a letter," he said, pulling me aside. "Says I'm not her son anymore." The pain in his voice was raw, and I felt it in my bones. I grabbed his hand, not caring who saw. "You're enough," I said, my voice fierce. "You don't need her to prove it." Sarah approached, overhearing. "There's a rally next week," she said, "for visibility, for people like us. You should come." Ryan nodded, and for the first time, I saw a spark in him, a defiance against the world that tried to break us. But as we stood there, hand in hand, I knew the road ahead was still steep. Mia was wavering, his mother was gone, and the city around us was both a refuge and a battleground. The rally pulsed through Chicago's streets, a wave of voices and signs demanding visibility. Ryan and I stood side by side, our hands brushing as we joined the crowd. It had been weeks since Mia's tentative outreach, since Ryan's mother had cut him off with her cold letter. The community center's support group had become our lifeline, a place where our fears didn't feel so heavy. Today, we weren't hiding, not from the city, not from ourselves. The air buzzed with chants, and I felt Ryan's fingers lace through mine, firm and unapologetic. My heart raced, not from fear this time, but from the thrill of standing together. Sarah, the volunteer, waved from nearby, her sign reading, "Love is love." She'd invited us to this rally, promising it would feel like a step forward. She was right. Each chant, each shared glance with Ryan chipped away at the shame I'd carried for so long. Still, Mia's absence stung. Our coffee shop talk had left things fragile. She was trying to understand, but her silence since then spoke louder than her words. Ryan's mother hadn't reached out either, her rejection a shadow over his resolve. "You okay?" Ryan asked, his voice cutting through the crowd's roar. I nodded, squeezing his hand. "With you? Yeah." The rally ended in a park, where speakers shared stories of defiance and hope. One man spoke of losing his family but finding a new one in the community. Ryan's grip tightened, his jaw set. I knew he was thinking of his mother, of the letter that had severed their bond. But here, surrounded by people who saw us, I felt a strength I hadn't known I had. I wasn't just Evan, hiding in the shadows. I was enough. Later, as we left the park, my phone buzzed. A text from Mia. "Saw you at the rally on the news. Can we meet?" My breath caught. Ryan leaned over, reading the screen. "Go," he said, his voice steady. "She's trying." I nodded, hope flickering despite the ache of the past weeks. The next day, I met Mia at the same coffee shop on Clark. She sat across from me, her hands wrapped around a mug, her eyes searching mine. "I watched the rally coverage," she said. "You looked happy with Ryan." Her voice was soft, cautious, but there was no anger this time. "I went to another PFLAG meeting. It's helping me get it. Why you didn't tell me." I was scared, I admitted, my voice low. "I thought I'd lose you." The words felt raw, but saying them lifted a weight. Mia reached across the table, her hand resting near mine. "You're still my best friend, Evan. I just needed time." She paused, then added, "Ryan's my brother. I want him happy too." "But Mom, she's not there yet." I nodded. The mention of Ryan's mother, a reminder of the cost of living openly. "She might never be," I said, the truth settling heavily. Mia's eyes softened. "Maybe. But I'm here now." It wasn't forgiveness, not fully, but it was a start. A bridge we could rebuild. That evening I found Ryan at the community center, helping with a youth art project. He smiled when he saw me, a real smile that reached his eyes. "How'd it go with Mia?" he asked, setting down a paintbrush. I told him everything, her words, her effort, the fragile hope between us. He listened, his hand finding mine. "She'll come around," he said. "And if she doesn't, we've got this." He gestured to the room, to the kids laughing, to Sarah organizing supplies. The weeks that followed weren't easy. Ryan's mother remained distant, her silence a wound that lingered. But the support group became our anchor, a place where we could be ourselves without fear. Mia started texting again, small steps toward mending what we'd broken. One night, as Ryan and I walked through Chicago, our hands linked openly, the city's lights felt like a promise. We weren't hiding anymore. The world might judge, but we had each other, and that was enough.